Opie and Anthony.
Where's our guitars?
Isn't that nice?
What a scary audience.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Look at that. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
For
Those
coming.
are your first words on the radio in 2 years.
Oh, that's right.
There you
And
go.
what was it? Thank you?
Thank you.
I waited 2 years for a thank you.
Actually, I said...
It
what
had
a,
you in it, but it started a little different.
Mine was, what a scary audience.
Welcome to XM.
Thank you,
for having
George.
us, man.
It's really good to have you here. We have an audience full of O&A fans, and they'll get shot at you throughout the hour here. But now that you're officially ungagged,
Yeah.
what do you have to say for yourself?
Can I just say fuck?
No.
Because so many people, we've been talking about this for the last 2 years, and when you go to satellite radio, is it going to be the FU show? Are you guys going to curse just to curse? No, but I just want to get that out of the way so we can move
Out
forward.
of his system?
Yeah, it's
Very
finally out
good.
of my system. Thank you. You were supposed to
Well,
laugh at that.
2 years. 2 years being off the air. I don't know. You think of what you want to do when you get back on, and I guess until we get on, no one's going to really know what the hell we want to do. Just get back to doing our show. So many things have happened over 2 years that we haven't been able to comment on, and it sucked.
I want to say that
Did a radio show with Opie over the telephone.
Yeah.
Almost every day. Every time some news happened, it was like, "Oh, did you hear that one? Did you see Mike Tyson get his ass kicked in the fight? Wasn't that great?" Yeah, well, boy, this would have been great for me if... Nothing. I just had Opie on the other end going, that's
Yeah.
funny, Anthony. That would have
We're
been great.
killing for an audience of two. We're thinking
yeah.
this would have been fun for 1 million people,
Yeah.
but instead we're making each other laugh.
And we're paying through the phone bill to even do the show.
That's true. Yeah.
Did you guys hang out together a lot when you were ungagged?
No, we don't hang out when we're not doing the
at
radio
all.
show.
No.
I can't
First
do
of all,
that.
I couldn't find him. There was no finding Opie. He was traveling like the world traveler. I'd call him up and be like, maybe we should take a meeting with the agent or something. Where are you, Opie? We hook up later on this afternoon. I'm in the Grand Canyon, Anthony. I took a burro down. He's like living out Brady Bunch episodes. And we took a burro down, and it's fantastic down here. I guess you won't be back this afternoon.
That's a true story. I almost died in the Grand Canyon with my brother, yeah.
A little hot down there.
Well, I did something that you're not supposed to do, and I didn't realize
figure that one out.
until we were in the gift shop, and we saw a book that says Deaths at the Grand Canyon. And there was a few of them in there that it's the exact thing we did. They don't like you hiking all the way down to the Colorado River and back in the same day. And, yeah, on the way out, it got a little scary and a little dark, but we made it out.
Thank God.
One time, Anthony called me, and I was actually on the X where JFK got shot.
Yeah, I call him out. He's in Dallas. He's in Texas at Dealey Plaza, and he's on the X that some sicko painted in the street. For some reason, they painted an X right where Kennedy bought it.
Right.
And Opie's like, Anthony, you'll never guess where I am. And I don't even try. I go, no, of course I wouldn't. Where? I don't know. England?
And
I had no clue, and he was on the X.
I was there with Jim Norton, and Jim's like, "You think they put the X there back in? Was it there before he made that faithful?"
That would have been a coincidence.
But yeah, I was quantum leaping all over the country there, George.
Well, you mentioned this when you first sat down, and it really is valid. There's been so many things that have happened in the last 2 years, and there must have been some of those pulling your hair out. Things events that have happened that you couldn't address. And just give me a couple of examples if you...
Top of the list?
Right there.
The governor of New Jersey's gay and we're not on the air?
Yeah, that was a good one.
You're kidding me.
That was definitely a good one. And then half our cheesy guests that we used to get just dying, Dr. Smith. Who saw Dr. Zachary Smith from Lost in Space dying while we were off the air? The nerve. Ronald Reagan. We figured that guy would be around for at least, give us a couple of months on the air, Ronnie, before you leave.
Buddy Ebsen.
Buddy Ebsen. The only reason we had Buddy Ebsen on the air was he was one celebrity that we figured we could absolutely get the last interview from. He's not one of the guys that are really in demand all the time, and everyone was getting press about getting the last interview with certain celebrities. So we decide to get Buddy Ebsen's phone number, call him up, and do an interview with him. And he was happy, to do it. And we figured he would die, and we'd have the last interview. Well, this guy hung on for years. And we called him every year. We just kept calling him. He knew who we were.
It started back in '95 when we were working in Boston.
Very good friends we ended up being. And we figured he'd be around. And what does he go and do? Dies when we're off the air. So we didn't get the last interview. I don't know who did. Maybe we did. I don't even know. Perhaps.
You're on a radio platform now that has no boundaries.
Yeah.
And it opens the door to a lot of things.
Trouble.
Which you addressed in the beginning here. So if there aren't any boundaries, where do you draw the line, or do you just do what you always did? I mean, you certainly have a vernacular, a whole list of phrases that covered things you couldn't cover in broadcast radio.
We assumed that the words that we made up during doing our show were good. You know, they were ones that could skate past the FCC. They weren't the actual words. When you said balloon knot, we assumed everybody would know. And if you don't know what balloon knot is, you blow up a balloon and tie it in a knot, and now look into where you just blew in. Look in that knot, and then picture what part of the human body it looks like, right? We figured balloon knot was safe. Well, the FCC, in their infinite wisdom and changing of their rules whenever they want, decided that balloon knot was a dirty word. And we were actually fined a part of the St. Pat's debacle.
$357,000.
Yeah, that they came up with was the term balloon knot. They said that, oh, we know what it means. No, you don't. You can't make rules like that. I am so happy to have them out of our hair here at XM. It's we will now be able to do the show we were doing when we first started, the show that we wanted to do. Not just get on there and curse all the time, but that'll be fun too. But to be able to do the show we were doing using the fun words for certain parts of the body and actions and whatnot, and not have to get off the air and lock our office door and wait for the GM to knock and say, uh-oh, we're in it again, you know?
Yeah, one of the first things the powers that be here at XM told us is, guys, you could be as crazy as you want. And I'm thinking to myself, do you really want to tell us that going into this?
Yeah, I was like,
we have a way of messing things up. Don't you understand?
I suggested they Google our name in the news section and do a little review there and see if they really want us to be that out of control.
Okay, we'll start with Sex for Allah.
That's right. Some mosque-rocking sex at the...
Yes, someone did tell us if the couple had sex in a mosque, we would be heroes instead of the scourge of society.
Instead of exiled radio hosts.
So do you disagree with the fact that you should have got fired over the St. Pat's Sex for Sam thing?
That's a whole thing. Technically, we didn't get fired. Unfortunately, we would have liked to have gone back to work before 2 years, but Infinity Broadcasting held us to our contract. We had about 2 years left on it, and it was kind of, I don't know, kind of a compliment to us in the show that they didn't want to compete against us because they knew we were running, you know, right across the street, and we were going to start competing with them, probably in mornings against Howard, and they did not want that. Absolutely didn't want that. So they sat us out. They paid us, which everybody at first is like, dude, wait a minute, you getting paid for doing nothing and you're complaining? It's like, yeah, but, you know, we didn't go in and pour concrete every day. No. We're hanging out with our friends, goofing, looking at tits, you know. Oh, yeah, get me out of that job, please. Pay me to stay home. No. Believe me, I'd get the check every week and go, you're kidding me, right? You're paying me again for this?
Yeah, and the fantasy, you know, everyone wishes they could get paid to do nothing, and the fantasy in your head is like, I'm going to be at the beach every day with the guys drinking beer, you know, having sex with beautiful women. Know what I did for 2 years? I played golf with old guys that the average age was like 70-something, and they would brag about their latest like medical procedure that is keeping them alive. I'm like, this was not in my fantasy of being out of work for 2 years.
The only people, though, that were available during the day were retired guys and crackheads. They're really all the you get the fantasies like Opie said about, you know, hey, you think back to when you were 18 or something and go, I'm going to hang out with my friends, we're going to hang out at the apartment, drink some beers, play some PlayStation and stuff. They're all